From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again. More Sports and Less Levine, and we, of course, are powered by cleveland.com. Tonight is Thursday, getting ready for the Browns' next game coming up on Monday against Baltimore. Who better than the dangerous one, Daryl Ruiter, coming in to discuss. What do you want to talk about tonight?
What is there to talk about tonight, right? A little bit of everything.
Well, let's start talking. Let's start spreading the news. Before the show, our extensive show prep that we were doing, we were going over all the possibilities how the Browns will win the division, win the spot in the playoffs, as opposed to the last however many years where we're trying to figure out if there's any way at all to get into that playoffs. And there never was a way. We always thought there was, but in reality, there never was.
No long division this year on the blackboard. The path is clear. The Browns control their own destiny, which is great to think about. At 9-3, they've got plenty of football that still has to be played. And I think that what's nice and refreshing coming out of at least the Zoom video conferences, not the locker room because we're not allowed in there this year. But what's really cool this Les is the message coming from the team, and that is the understanding they've accomplished nothing yet, and that they realize that everything is in front of them, and they obviously have to go out there and handle their business if they want to get to the postseason.
The audience doesn't really care about what I'm about to say, but the way this broke down from the amount of locker room situations that you have, it really broke in the Browns' favor. Kevin Stefanski, who by the way hasn't done a thing wrong yet, has had a perfect setup on what's going on and how he's treated by the media. It's impossible to treat him poorly based on the fact he hasn't done anything wrong. And secondly, the way it's set up now is not the way it's been in the past. I mean, Hugh Jackson would not be able to avail himself of this kind of representation with the media.
Well, not just with the media, but I don't think that any of these previous coaches, I shudder to think how Freddie Kitchens would handle this year, or Hugh Jackson, in the river of excuses that would be flowing. And we've talked about in the past, Les. It's hard not to think it's too bad the Browns didn't hire Kevin Stefanski last year. Where would this franchise be had they hired him a year ago? How much further ahead and down the line would Baker Mayfield be within his offensive system had he been here a year ago? Granted, it's all water under the bridge. He's here now. The team is performing. It was interesting. Rashard Higgins talked about it today, and I thought it was a great point. Players believe that the coaches know and understand what they do best and are putting them in position to do those things. And that is why I think you're seeing the success you see.
And there was no sniffing of that kind of thing last year.
Nope.
Kitchens just hoping and praying something good would happen. And occasionally it did the year before, but there was no rhyme or reason to it. But this year's a whole different thing. And I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of Browns games over the years. But on a Friday, for example, I really am looking forward to every game that comes about because they're not fluke wins. They're not big wins number wise. They're not crushing other teams, but they're in pretty solid position to win all the games they've won. They have not been lucky in any of these games that they pulled off.
Yeah, they've not had a field goal doink off the upright at the gun. They haven't had a miracle pick six or some bizarre thing. How the Browns used to lose games, guy taking off his helmet, Dwayne Rudd slamming it on the ground and allowing the Chiefs to go ahead and kick a field goal. They haven't had anything bizarre lead to a win. And conversely, they've not had anything bizarre happen to them that's resulted in a loss. So, they have had their games this year have been clean right down the middle.
Right. In fact, just this past weekend, you thought in other years you fumbled the ball. You're trying to run out the clock and you fumble the ball. That turns into 2 touchdowns and a couple of field onside kicks, and also you had some situations that I thought the referees gave Tennessee a horrible spot on that running play, 4th down. I can't believe they're still not replaying it just to make sure.
Well, for once, a call went in the Browns' favor, right? I mean, I agree with you. I thought when Mike Vrabel challenged that, and it was on the opening series, Derrick Henry got stopped. I had thought he got to the line to gain, and so when they spotted it and said it was first down Browns, and then Vrabel challenged, I thought for sure that Vrabel was going to win the challenge. Tennessee was ultimately going to go right down the field, finish off the drive with a touchdown. That didn't happen. The Browns won the challenge, or actually in this case, the Titans lost the challenge, and the Browns were the team that were able to go the other way and extend their lead. So there have been some fortuitous circumstances as far as the Browns are concerned this year, but again, none of these wins have been a fluke. They absolutely dismantled Dallas. They dismantled the Tennessee Titans. Granted, in both of those games, the defense got too lax and gave up big second halves. They learned from the first matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals, and they took them apart in the second game. Baker Mayfield, for all the criticism that he gets, he's the only quarterback in the NFL to throw 4 touchdowns in a single half, and he's done that twice this year, at Cincinnati and then at Tennessee.
I asked somebody the other night, I think Mary Kay Cabot, he tied the Browns record for with Otto Graham, 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. Do you think that Baker knows history enough to know who Otto Graham is? I'm not putting him down here. I'm just wondering his knowledge and those of other players, because Nick Chubb was not sure, didn't know anything about the Browns being sold or stolen and taken to Baltimore.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised by that because Nick Chubb's been here a few years, and I know that we've asked questions to him about that. But I think Baker does at least have a cursory knowledge of some of the greats that have played here, in the Hall of Famers that played here, and the fact that Otto Graham now has a statue outside of First Energy Stadium, put up last year, long time coming. I will say yes to that, Les. I do think he is aware, and I also believe that he's humbled that he did something that allows him to be mentioned in the same breath as Otto Graham.
He seems like a different guy this year. Let me ask you about something that I heard, and you, of course, heard. You were there. I was not. I caught the transcript on radio. But Denzel Ward's name came up, and Stefanski didn't just blatantly rule it out. It actually seemed like he was leaving a lot of wiggle room there. What did you sense when you heard it?
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that. Usually Kevin is very reserved when it comes to injuries. I was actually surprised earlier in the week, Les, when he said day to day, because usually, or I should say prior to that, it was week to week, right? Then it went day to day this week, and that kind of perked my ears up. And then today, when he came out and said, yeah, I'm hopeful, let's see what he can do today on the side. We'll see what he can do tomorrow. Before we, really kind of crystallize that picture. The fact that they don't play till Monday, I think, is certainly helpful, but I will still be surprised. And I'll be honest with you, I would rather not see Denzel Ward Monday night if he's not 100% or as healthy as he's going to be for the rest of the year. I would rather sit him and give him another week off and get him ready for those back-to-back trips to the Big Apple against the Giants and Jets, because that really is where the Browns absolutely must handle their business and get to 11-5, because I have a real bad feeling that the Baltimore Ravens are about to have a December they're going to remember for a long time.
Wow, I was thinking the same thing. It's interesting, though. Kevin Stefanski does not seem like a guy who throws things out like day to day, or we hope to get him. He doesn't throw them out wishing and hoping. I think he's legitimate when he says it, and if he gets disappointed, he gets disappointed. I don't think he's excuse me, I don't think he's earned the art of head coach lie speak.
Yeah, well, he doesn't lie, and it was interesting. I asked him a question today about because Baker Mayfield had talked about after the Titans game how fans need to change their expectations because the standards of the Cleveland Browns have changed. And so when I asked Stefanski today about that, what are those standards? What does that entail as the head coach who sets those standards? And he just freely admitted, he said, I don't know how to answer the question in coach speak to you. Like, which I appreciate. It was refreshingly honest that he wanted to answer the question in very coach speak like terminology, and he just didn't know how to do it. And he hemmed and hawed, he answered the question. But yeah, I mean, he is someone that does not get very cavalier with his remarks and things that he says, and especially less when you're talking about guys that are injured.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. Daryl Ruiter from 92.3 The Fan is with us, and we'll take a break. We'll come on back and take your calls. Lines are open if you'd like to get in. 216-575-0403. More sports and less Levine. And, of course, it's powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Daryl Ruiter with us. Birthday's for today, December 10th. Mike Dupp. That's what we had to do with Daryl to get him ready to be heard on the show. Mark Aguirre. And Tigers used to have Hank Aguirre, different guy. Hank Aguirre was the worst hitter in the history of mankind. Paul Assenmacher, born in 1960. Matt Forte and Deion Waiters, we remember him, and Joe Burrow, all born on this date, the 10th of December. 216-575-0403. Daryl Ruiter is with us, 92.3 The Fan. Hey, Daryl, you said you expect or you're concerned about a December to remember for the Ravens, and that's based on what?
Well, after the Browns game, they have a relatively easy schedule the rest of the way. They host Jacksonville. They will take on the New York Football, pretending to still play Giants, and then the Cincinnati Bengals to end the season. I think that they have a tremendous opportunity here to basically clean sweep the month of December. And if that happens, that gets them to 11-5 on the season. And that is why Monday night's game, Wes, to me is so intriguing, because the Browns have a 2-game lead on Baltimore in the division and the playoff race. Baltimore has to win this game. They absolutely cannot afford a loss to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns don't necessarily have to win this game to make the playoffs, but I think that they really need to win this game just to keep Baltimore off their heels and really slow up what I think is going to be a strong finish to the season for the Ravens. Because even if Baltimore loses to the Browns, I still think they win those final 3 games and get to those double-digit victories. And I have said since the beginning of the season, when they added that 7th playoff team, 10 and you're in. Well, if they win the 3 of their last 4, that gets them to 10, which means I think they're in.
Your statement about the Browns don't have to win. If they have any designs on still winning the division, they do have to. They have to run the table, and some other things have to happen. But you're saying that that is not even a realistic thing to concern yourself with?
Yeah, I am not concerned about the division because I just don't think it's realistic. Don't get me wrong. The Browns haven't won a division since 1989. So that it would be quite the comeback feat if the Pittsburgh Steelers completely fall apart down the stretch here, which I don't think is going to happen under Mike Tomlin. They have won a lot of games this year in similar fashion to the Browns. Not real exciting brand of football, but they find a way to get it done. And that's what the Browns have done. But yet we have these 2 separate narratives. We have the Browns, who are not as good as their 9-3 record would indicate, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then you have the tough and gritty and battle-tested Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just like, huh? I mean, I watched that game earlier this week, and I'm like, someone get me a spoon so I can scoop my eyeballs out. I felt like I was watching the Cleveland Browns in 2017. It was some ugly, ugly football against the Washington football team. They lost to a team with no name. How about that?
I happen to like that no name. I happen to like it. It's interesting because up through the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, everybody's saying, well, the Browns have an easy schedule. It's basically the same schedule that Pittsburgh had, except there was one game difference. I think it was Buffalo was exchanged with somebody, I forget who, but their schedule was not any tougher than the Cleveland Browns. And I don't think the Browns had a tough schedule or had an easy schedule, by the way.
Yeah, well, the AFC North this year got the AFC South and the NFC East. And the football gods were nice enough to make the NFC East the NFC least this year. Every team below 500. In fact, I think the first team to 7 wins is going to win that division, similar to what the Seattle Seahawks did a couple of years ago. Remember when they won the NFC West at 7-9, and then they've gotten to the playoffs and actually won a playoff game and advanced to the divisional round before bowing out. So, the Browns swept the South. They beat all 4 teams in that division, and they have an opportunity when they take on the Giants. If they win that, they sweep the NFC least. So, and by the way, that has never happened before. I don't think, at least in the expansion era, where the Browns have A, swept the division, and B, swept 2 divisions in the same season.
All right, so tell me what concerns you most about the Browns' path to wherever they're going here and place themselves in the playoffs. Any concern that they won't make it?
No, not as long as they split these final games here, these final 4 games. So to me, the magic number is 2. They need 2 more victories to absolutely assure themselves a playoff spot, because they're at 9 now. Again, I say 10 and you're in, but just to be safe, because I'm anticipating Baltimore is going to make a run here and they're going to get to double-digit victories, either 10 or 11, pending the outcome of Monday night's game. To me, I think the Browns, to feel real good about them, they got to get to 11, which means I've got the 2 games in New York. If they can go to New York back-to-back weeks, take care of the Giants on Monday night, or I should say on Sunday Night Football, that game got flexed yesterday, and then they go back and they handle the Jets the following week, That gets them to 11 wins. Then whatever you did against the Ravens and the Steelers becomes gravy. Listen, Les, there is a path for the Browns to win 12 games. Yeah, believe it or not, if they win 3 of their final 4, they're going to win 12. And normally 12 wins is good enough to get you a division title. It's not going to be this year because, again, I don't see Pittsburgh, falling off or falling back. And in fact, a quick check of their schedule, they've got a trip to the Bills Sunday night. They've got the Bengals in Cincinnati. They host the Colts. And then, of course, they come to Cleveland to wrap up the season against the Browns. And obviously, they're going to win 2 more games. They're going to beat the Colts, in my opinion. They're going to run up and down the field on the Cincinnati Bengals there. So that's why I don't think the Browns winning the AFC North, Les, is worth much of a conversation because I don't see the feasibility.
Do you know if NBC is giving us Al Michaels or Mike Tirico?
I don't know which broadcaster they're assigning to the game. Al Michaels went into the baseball. I didn't realize that Al Michaels wasn't in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and he's officially in the Hall now because he went in this week. But I don't know if we're getting Tirico or Michaels.
All right, we're taking a break. We'll come on back. Daryl Ruiter is with us, 92.3 The Fan, and more sports and Les Levine continues. And of course, we're powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Welcome back. More sports and Les Levine. Today in history, sports history, December 10th, 2016, Lamar Jackson becomes the youngest player to win the Heisman Trophy. He was 19 years old, 337 days old, and that's when he won the Heisman Trophy. Hey, Daryl, I'm just going to announce it. Why not? I'll announce it. I'll make it exclusive to you. I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to be all that stuff, a yes man. My vote to the Heisman is going to Ohio State's quarterback. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, perfectly fine. Justin Fields has been fantastic. Not crazy about the sample size, but hard to argue against it.
He had one bad game by his standards, and that was the one against Indiana. If you look at the stats, that wasn't that bad a game.
No, it wasn't. And all this criticism about Ohio State getting into the Big Ten Conference Championship game, having only played the 5 games. Listen, I wish the Buckeyes would have found a game this weekend to play and get a 6th game in before that Big Ten title game. I'm not crazy about a 6-0 team making the college football playoff. And I'm a Buckeye homer, don't get me wrong. Love my Buckeye football Saturdays, but I can objectively look at that and understand why some might be unhappy with the sample size. However, I do believe that Ohio State's one of the best 4 teams in the country right now and deserving of a playoff spot. And, and obviously Justin Fields and what he's done for the Buckeyes has been nothing less than spectacular.
So Baker Mayfield wins, or he's up for an award that I've never heard of. Let's see, Brian, put it up, and let's see what he's up for. He's the NFL Player of the Week because of his play against the Titans, and he's looking for the NFL Air Player Award. Do you have any idea what that's? I think it has to be who throws the ball.
It's a sponsored award, weekly award. Just like Nick Chubb won the Ground Award earlier this season. So yeah, it's an award to I guess bring in a little revenue for the league, and then also honor the best quarterback and rushing attack for the week. There's also you have the offensive and defensive and special teams player of the week awards as well, that don't necessarily have the title sponsorship with it, but yeah, that award's been around a while.
Yeah. All right. So here's one I have heard of. It's the Walter Payton Award, and Myles Garrett is the Browns nominee. What a difference a year makes, Daryl.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wrote today. A year ago this time, he was suspended. He was enemy number one in the National Football League. For that incident involving him hitting Mason Rudolph in the head with his own helmet. But what Myles Garrett has done to remake his image, both on as well as off the field. He's a tremendous player on the field. I think that the country has started this year to finally get exposed to just how good of a player that Myles Garrett really is. Unfortunately, in the infancy of his career, the Browns weren't winning football games, so nobody cared about the Browns. Some didn't even recognize the Browns being in the NFL. That's how bad the Browns were. But, now that, Cleveland is starting to turn this thing around, they're in playoff contention, everyone is seeing just what type of a talent he is. And then when you look at his work off the field, because that's ultimately what the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award is about, is work in the community off the field. He's on the team's social justice committee. He's become a more vocal leader within the organization and locker room, which is an area that he himself admitted when we spoke to him today that he wasn't crazy about, but he made it an effort and understood why, as one of the premier players on the team, he really needed to take that mantle upon his shoulders. He's involved in the Water Boys program. He's one of the captains for that. Which is, their goal is to provide clean drinking water across the globe for those that don't have access to it. And he does a lot of other things in the community. Earlier this year, he gathered a bunch of food and supplies for people that were affected by the pandemic. So he does a lot of great work off the field. And to his credit, he's done a lot on and off the field to remake his image, because what happened against the Steelers last November of 2019 is, quite frankly, something that I felt was going to stain his career. And it's nice to see that he's been able to repair that image in such a short fashion.
It's time for the media to ease up on it, and it's time for him to say, "I've said everything I need to say or want to say." We don't. It's not fair to him at this point.
Well, it was relevant today just because of the award. And, again, a year ago, he was enemy number one in the National Football League, suspended indefinitely. There was a thought even that he might have gone into this season still carrying that suspension. And I think that the Browns and Garrett, with the help of his agent and, those around him, I think they handled the situation beautifully with the commissioner's office to get him reinstated right away after the season and allow the process of putting that behind. Because, Les, the NFL wanted that to go away. First of all, that happened on national TV, which is, I think, part of the reason that they lowered the hammer as quickly as they did, because it happened in front of a nationwide audience on Thursday Night Football on Fox. And then the other thing, too, is they don't want that ugliness, to be repetitive out there. I go back to Ndamukong Suh and all the stuff that he did, stepping on players, kicking guys in the head and things like that. But he was a repeat offender, whereas this was a one-time incident. And I said it at the time. My exposure to Myles Garrett, that just isn't who he is. Something happened to trigger him to respond like that. That doesn't excuse the response. It was completely abhorrent and inappropriate, and he absolutely deserved the punishment that he served. But Mason Rudolph wasn't the angel that some people tried to make him out to be.
Someday that'll come out. You mentioned that we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, I want to go back to something you said where Baker is getting a lot of national publicity, and he'll get more here over the 2 times in the next weekend. And I want to know, maybe you can help me out. Give me a teaching lesson here, how it seems that the national people think more of Baker Mayfield than a lot of local people do. And what does he have to do, or does he have to do anything to change that image? Let's think about that, and we'll take care of it when we get back. More Sports and Less Levine continues. Daryl Ruiter, 92.3 The Fan, and we are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get texts sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
The Browns' backfield combo of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is a headache, both literally and figuratively for opponents. Nick Chubb is the lead back, but Hunt is the best 1A running back in the NFL, who is equally as dangerous. He just gets it done in different ways. Their styles are a perfect complement to each other. Chubb is a physical runner who is fast and can be a home run hitter. Hunt, while elusive and quick, is more of a physical sledgehammer who defenders don't like seeing late in games. Kareem Hunt has the unique ability to take big hits and keep his balance. As a team, the Browns are closing in on 2,000 yards rushing, second in the NFL. Both Hunt and Chubb are each over 700 yards rushing on the season, and both are in the top 10 in the league for the season. The thing that works so well is they both truly want to see the other one succeed.
Our mindsets are pretty similar, we both love the game of football. and we both want to do whatever it takes to help the team win. And I like guys like that on my team.
Obviously, I didn't know those two guys at all. So you rely on people in the building that have been around them, and they've been as advertised in that regard.
Another thing that makes the tandem so dangerous is Kareem Hunt is a huge threat in the passing game. He's tied for third on the Browns in receptions, behind only Jarvis Landry and Austin Hooper, and he leads the Browns with 4 touchdown receptions. Hunt is also very good in pass protection and has shown the ability to be a good blocker when he's on the field at the same time with Nick Chubb.
I just go out there and do whatever I can, whenever a play is called or whatever to help, maximize the plays. And that's blocking or running the ball. I really don't pay attention too much about it. It'll pop up at the end of the game or something. So it's just whatever it takes to win. If we win, and I'm good with that.
Andrew Berry and the Browns were thrilled to sign Hunt to a 2-year contract extension a few months ago to keep him right here in Cleveland through 2022.
More sports and less Levine. Daryl Ruiter is with it. Daryl, I thought that Kareem Hunt made one of the underrated plays of the year the other day after that fumble in the last few minutes here. He ran it down. A lot of guys would have given up, let that touchdown be scored. He stopped it and used time off the clock, and it's a big reason that Tennessee wasn't able to come from behind all the way to win that game.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski called it the Kareem Hunt loves football drill, and it's so true. To be able to run that far down the field and basically force the Titans to have to earn that extra touchdown instead of just getting a scoop 6 off of it. It speaks to him as a competitor and as well as a player. I mean, that's pretty hard to do, to chase down Vicario the way he did, but he did, and ultimately helped save the game.
All right, let's go back to the last segment when we talked about Baker Mayfield nationally and all that. What is it just going to be because he's the quarterback and we're not used to having a franchise quarterback? Is that just what we as fans have to put up with? Or is there something that I'm not seeing in this guy that makes people so upset with the fact that he's the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? Help me out here.
Yeah, I don't know where the volume of criticism, maybe it's the vocal minority here too, but I kind of compare Baker Mayfield a little bit to Bernie Kosar, who to this day is one of the most beloved Browns in franchise history. And if my memory serves me correctly, Bernie only made 1 Pro Bowl, and I think that was like in 1985. And I remember watching Bernie. He there were so many good quarterbacks in his era. Joe Montana, Jim Kelly. Then it went to Steve Young. John Elway was in there as well. Dan Marino. But I don't think and you could probably speak a little better to this because you were covering the team back then, Les. But I don't ever remember Bernie Kosar being considered like an elite quarterback. Like, he was very good. The Browns won. They got to those 3 AFC championship games. And that's kind of how I look at Baker. I don't know if Baker Mayfield can be Drew Brees or if he can be Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, like in that elite echelon of NFL quarterbacks. But what I've learned about Baker this year is you can win with him. He's good enough to win. And that is all that matters. And we're starting to see him make some throws that we didn't see in the first 8 games. And there's a feeling out process. And so many things have happened. We've talked about the 3 coaches and 3 offensive systems in many years. And I can't wait to see him in year 2 with a coach and with a system to really see that growth. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be fine. I maintain it. I've said it from day one. I get the criticism. Everybody wants to see the Patrick Mahomes style highlights of, the 400 to 500 yards passing and, him throwing 3 to 4 touchdowns every single week in and week out. But I think Baker Mayfield is a much better player today, Les, than what we saw in week number 1. And that, to me, is the biggest sign that he can be the franchise quarterback of the Cleveland Browns.
When you go back to the Kosar days that you're talking about, even though Bill Belichick thought that Testaverde was the right guy, there wasn't any local. Maybe because everybody liked Bernie so much but there wasn't any side that the people that were siding with Testaverde in the battle for the quarterback spot. And I don't know if it's because Bernie. I mean, a lot of it is because Bernie chose to come here and did whatever he could do to make that happen. And we haven't had anything like that before. But maybe I don't think it's the putting Oklahoma's flag at the horseshoe. I don't think that's what it is. Just like I never thought Braylon Edwards was disliked because he was from Michigan. I don't know what it is about Baker, except that this year he seems to have changed his personality a little bit. I don't know if he got some training on how to do that, but he seems like a much nicer guy and much more understanding than he did last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've not had those confrontations during media sessions that we've had in the past. And I think that's what you're alluding to. And that's a sign of maturity. Not every question you're going to be asked is one that you're going to like. Unfortunately, the people that cover the team, you're gonna have to deal with them. He has been more mature in that regard. I don't know, to your point, I don't know if he had any training or whatnot. But I also think too that the fact that he and Kevin Stefanski really seem to have been able to put their heads together and get on the same page. That's why I'm so confident about the Browns making the playoffs, even though they haven't clinched yet. And I'm confident that they're going to finish the season strong and that the wheels aren't going to come off the wagon and we're going to have a late season implosion. It's because of Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield. I think that they're going to do what it takes to get done.
If the Browns somehow don't make the playoffs, that could be one of the worst falls we've had, and we've had enough to choose from. There is a good sample size. I don't want to see that.
Oh, yeah.
For a variety.
I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I think they're going to finish, at worst, I think they're going to finish the season 2-2 and get to 11-5.
All right, let's take a break. We're coming back. Daryl Ruiter, 92.3 The Fan. More sports and less Levine continues, and it's powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Welcome back. More sports and less Levine. We are joined by Daryl Ruiter, the pride of Warren Harding High School, who was just edged out by Paul Warfield as Athlete of the Century at that school.
Actually, it was JFK. Harding's the public school. I wasn't good enough to go to Harding.
having trouble connecting with Daryl. You know, you say one nasty thing, and they have ways of pulling plugs on us. So, give me an idea. What do you think is going to happen here over the next 3-4 weeks before you get into the playoffs? Tell me where the Browns come in. Tell me where Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Where does this all happen? And most of it will take place this weekend.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh hangs on to the division and wins it by multiple games over the Browns. I think the Browns finish second in the AFC North, and the Baltimore Ravens will do just enough, and they will backdoor their way into that third playoff spot within the division. It's going to play out the way I thought it would at the beginning of the year. I thought 3 teams from the AFC North were going to get in, and I think ultimately that's going to happen. I'd like the Ravens to win at least 3 of their final 4 games, if not run the table.
Okay, other than Jimmy Haslam, does it matter to anybody if Stefanski gets the Coach of the Year award?
It kind of matters to me. I think he deserves it. I mean, if you get the Cleveland Browns less to the playoffs, like that should be in the rule. Cleveland Browns made playoffs, you get Coach of the Year. Like, I mean, it's incredible what he's done this year. If you look at what he's dealt with. I don't know how he doesn't.
Yeah. Win one game in the playoffs, just get on 77 South and stop at Canton on your way.
Right. Yeah. You win a playoff game, they'll start, putting the mold together for your statue.
Yeah. You know who I feel sorry for? Well, everybody, the way the pandemic has hit all of us, but the fact that the Browns fans who have waited so long and so patiently, and they don't, they don't get to see the games. They don't get to experience what we all experience in the Bernie days and Super Bowl. And we weren't close to the Super Bowl, but the song was. And it's just too bad that the next generation doesn't get to feel and sense what we saw in the 80s. And when you think about it, the Browns Denver thing was fantastic theater. It was fantastic competition. It didn't come out the way we wanted it to, but historically, that's etched in the minds of any Browns fan that's out there.
Yeah, I remember seeing the John Elway tombstones at outside Mile High Stadium. Right. I remember the regular season game when Denver came back to Cleveland and they had to switch. They had to flip the field because the Broncos were just getting showered with dog bones and batteries and any other object you could think of flying out of the dog pound.
That was the way the Browns used their combines. If the guy could hit a guy's helmet from the 30-yard line, he got a tryout for the team.
But yeah, you make a great point, Les, and I wrote about this after that Titans win. It's the most 2020 thing ever that here we are finally, the Browns are relevant. They're legitimately a good football team. We talked about it earlier. This is not a fluke. They're a legitimate 9-3 football team, and the fans can't fill the stadium. The governor today announced the variants that even though the statewide curfew will be in place through the new year, the Browns, the Bengals, the University of Cincinnati, and the Columbus Crew will be permitted to host fans in their respective stadiums. But Browns can only have 12,000 fans because, well, that's what is safest. But yeah, it's such a bummer because really only one year I can remember First Energy Stadium resembling the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium, and that was during the 2007 season when they went 7-1 at home. And it was that high-powered offense with, K2 and Braylon and Derek Anderson. That was really the last time that, you'd sit in the press box and you could, feel the stadium shaking, right? We haven't had a lot of that.
They showed on the televised part of the game the other day. They showed the last time the Browns were 9-4 or 9-3, whatever it was, and they had Vinny Testaverde was the quarterback. But
94.
94. You just saw the dirt of the infield. You just saw, obviously we're used to these modern stadiums. That was pretty neat from a football standpoint there. I know we hated going to the restroom. I understand all that. But that was part of the lure of the lore and lure of the Cleveland Browns fans.
Yeah, the going to the restroom and using the troughs was like a rite of passage to manhood. Growing up, they used to paint the infield dirt green. in December because the grass would. They would always, they would always fill in the infield, but it would never grow in. And so they just break out the cans of spray paint and just start spray painting second base. But that place was a dump, but it was a great.
But it was our dump. But it was
right. It really was. Cleveland Stadium was the dump of dumps, and a few other adjectives we're not going to repeat here. But it was ours. It had charm to it.
This means we got to go. So we got to go. Thanks to Daryl Ruiter. Great job. You can hear him on 90. And we've got one more segment to go. We'll come back, and my clock management skills are failing me. We'll be back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is seen and powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, it's the weekend winter edition of the show. Dan Lobby from cleveland.com will be joining Dave Bacon. That's Dan on the left, I think. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Daryl, this is the first encore presentation. There was an encore, fans begging you to come on for one more segment, and we appreciate it.
I'm glad to be back.
All right, so you got 5 minutes. Start talking.
About what?
I'll tell you what, because you cover everybody for 92.3 The Fan, I want you to tell me if the Indians are going to get some kind of a decent deal for Lindor, or they're going to lose out on this one too.
I'm really worried about that. I'm worried about the Indians as a whole, but I don't know that they're going to get what they were hoping to get for Francisco Lindor. The homer in me, hopes that they just completely wipe out a team's farm system. But the reports coming out of Toronto, the Blue Jays are interested, but they're only interested if they get a long-term commitment for Lindor. They don't want to do a one-year rental type of situation. So, that's the worry, because once you trade Francisco Lindor, I realize their pitching is strong less, but Francisco is like the cornerstone of the franchise. And once you remove that cornerstone, there's some rebuilding that's going to have to take place. And my concern is I don't know this time. They've done a great job in the Terry Francona era of kind of retooling the roster on the fly. I think if you trade Francisco Lindor, which they're going to do, I'm not confident that they're going to be able to rebuild the roster on the fly and maintain the same level of winning that we've seen the previous 8 years.
I don't know how you can. I don't know how the Indians can justify signing Francisco Lindor. I don't see how. I think we're all admitting that that's the fate here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with Major League Baseball. This is not a Cleveland Indians problem. This is a Major League Baseball economic disparity problem, and the fact that you I don't understand how Major League Baseball expects to grow their game without having teams with the ability to retain their star players. The NBA has mechanisms in place to do that. The NFL has mechanisms in place to do that. Major League Baseball does not. It is the haves, it is the have-nots. The Tampa Bay Rays getting to the World Series with a $35 million payroll is the exception. It is not the rule.
They'll also tell you the Dodgers took 35 years to win it again since Kirk Gibson. So they have answers ready. They're not good answers. I mean, it's so easy to come back and say, well, yeah, those are facts, but it just stands to reason that you got a better chance to win if you have better players.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're as good as the talent you have. And to the Indians' credit, they've cultivated a lot of their own talent. The front office over the years have made some tremendous trades. And that's why the hope is they can turn Francisco Lindor into a couple of pieces that they can rebuild their franchise around, whether they're called the Indians still or not.
One of the problems is that it looks like the Chicago White Sox got better quicker than anybody expected.
Yeah, and, Carlos Santana went to the Royals.
Times a game when you could beat them.
Yeah, I actually right now, if the season were to begin today, I probably would jump on the bandwagon and pick the White Sox to win the Central. But Kansas City got better by adding Carlos Santana, and that's what I'm getting at too. Is you're going to lose Francisco Lindor. You've already lost Carlos Santana. I mean, those are massive, massive pieces of your ball club that you're going to lose in an offseason, and I don't know how you recover from that.
All right, you did a great job filling those 5 minutes or so. That's clock management people say or so. You always can come back to that. If I don't see you before, have a great Christmas and Happy New Year, and we will see you soon. And thanks for all you do to help the show. We appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. Happy holidays to you and your family as well, and all of our viewers out there. And we'll talk to you soon.
Daryl Ruiter, you can hear him on 92.3 The Fan. We'll see you on. I'll see you on Monday night with Bud Shaw of all the shows I've ever done. This was the most recent.